truly excited about what he's done, what he's doing, and what he's going to do. I'm excited about the hunger that's being stirred.
Amen.
And I pray that it stays.
Yeah.
And the fire stays kindled.
Amen.
And the people, you know, what he said about speaking to God, you know, you establish the covenant through tithe.
Amen.
You fulfill, you begin to fulfill the covenant through tongues. Once you've established it, you can speak in tongues because the Bible says that my glory rejoiced.
Amen.
My tongue rejoiced.
Yeah.
So pray in tongues.
Amen.
Pray in tongues like you really want to talk to God.
Amen.
Pray in tongues. I mean, you know, it's something that is vital to our walk in Christ. Yeah. It's vital to anything that you want to do in the church, in the body, whatever your calling is, whatever area of life you're called to. Tongues is what's going to allow that manifestation of the Spirit in your life. Without tongues, you will not manifest that glory.
Amen.
You won't. I mean, don't think because one thing happened that it's, oh man, it's going to happen. Like I said yesterday, it falls on the just and on the unjust.
Amen.
But when God's blessing and favor,
yes,
people will see that. You don't have to, they'll see it. They'll see that it's on your life and there's no possible way that you should be doing what you're doing because I know how this works. Or I know how that works. There's no way it can happen.
Yeah.
So pray in tongues. Be bored if you have to. Just do something while you pray in tongues. But pray in tongues.
Yeah.
It's very vital. Very vital. The Bible says the manifestation of the Spirit. That word manifestation is in the singular. That means there's one thing that manifests the Spirit, and that was tongues.
Yeah.
And it's given to all those who accept it. All
yes,
who accept it. It's given. You just have to accept it.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, let me move on. But I wanted to stress that point and that fact. Because when you don't eat and you're hungry, you want to eat. So your hunger for God will determine how much you pray.
Amen.
It will determine how much you do for God.
Yes.
You can say, I'm on fire for God. And I'm looking at you like, what are you doing? Because people who are truly on fire for God, no one has, they don't even have to say, I'm on fire for God.
Yeah.
Everyone will say, he's on fire for God. She's on fire for God. So, be on fire for God. Hallelujah. Be hungry. Amen.
Amen.
Let's see how I can get this done. It's like a dual service tonight, I guess. Okay. one of the things that I like doing. There's two things I like. I like science type TV shows and cold cases. I love those shows. I can watch them all day long. But there's this one show that I fell in love with called Brain Games. And I was watching the show, and I found it interesting because they did this like they set up a scenario, and in the scenario, they had a doctor's office that was set up, and so everybody was in on this scenario except for one person that came in. And so they would sit there in this doctor's office, and they would gently be sitting there. This bell would go off, and when the bell went off, they would stand up and sit back down. And the lady started looking around. She was like, "What the heck is going on?" And a couple of minutes, would go by. The bell would go off, and they would stand back up and sit back down. And this happened like 2 more times. And then the bell went off, and all of a sudden she stood up with them and then sat back down. And then she sat there, and the bell went off, she stood up, and she sat back down. And then eventually, they would call the people in one by one to the back office while she stood there until all of them were gone, and the bell went off, and she stood up, and she sat back down. And she was in the office, like, it happened like 2 more times. She was by herself. Then all of a sudden, now they have people who are coming in for doctor visits, and they know nothing about the scenario, what's going on. They're just as clueless as she was. They came in, they sat down, the bell went off, she stood up. Now the new guy's looking at her. Like, and so it happened again. The bell went off, and she stood up. And so the guy finally asked her and said, "Hey, why are you standing up?" She said, "I don't know." They were just doing it when I got here. So every time the bell goes off, we're to stand up. So the bell went off a couple more times. Next thing you know, they're both standing up and sitting down. And then another person came in, and now he doesn't know what's going on. The bell goes off. And now them two are standing up, and he's sitting down. Like, what are y'all doing? And eventually, they all came to stand up. And then when they were asked, they had no idea why they were standing up. Every time the bell went off, they stood up. Every time the bell went off, each and every person that came into that office afterwards stood up. Yet they had no idea why they were standing. I asked, what bell goes off that you stand up to, and you have no idea why you're standing? The Bible says, "I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God." These people were conforming to a pattern.
Yes.
That as the bell went off, they would stand up. And because everyone else was doing it. See, that is the pattern of mankind, of human nature. Because everyone else is doing a thing, we don't want to feel left out, so we begin to do a thing, not knowing why we're doing it, not knowing what is benefiting to my life. And just so we don't look like the oddball, we stand up, not knowing why.
Yeah.
Not willing to have a firm foundation on what you believe and to stand for what you know. Why you're standing. You must have a sure foundation of why you're standing when your bell goes off. See, because there's a bell in your life that rings, and every time it rings, you do what you don't want to do. And you find a war on the inside of yourself that says, that which I do, I don't want to do, but that which I want to do, I do not.
Yes.
What is going on the inside of me? There's a bell going off, and you don't even know why you're standing.
Yeah.
You're conforming to something that is not of God.
Yes.
And you know, you don't even know why, but you do it. But you're too proud to sit down when everyone else is standing up.
Yes.
It's a shame when you conform to something and you have the slightest clue of why.
Amen. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
And see, some of us have been standing up to a bell that we don't know why we're standing to.
Yes.
And because of pride, we're too willing to ask the questions,
Why?
why? It's an amazing thing. Self-righteousness. We think because we can stand up to a bell that goes off, and as long as we don't look like the oddball, we'll be okay.
Yes.
But yet you don't know why you're standing.
Yeah.
Why do you come to church? Why are you in this building? Why are you singing songs of worship? Why are you giving sacrifice? Why? You must ask yourself these things. Why? Are you just conforming to an image because everyone else is doing it? Did it start off with good intentions because you needed to go to the doctor because you were sick, but when you got there, you got caught up in a standing?
Yeah.
What are you being conformed to? Is it the image of God? Or is it the image of man? Is it the image of the worldly system? Are we trying to cross-pollinate? Say, hey, I go to church, but, everything's a hybrid now. And we think we can take that same mentality into the church and stand up. We think we can cross-pollinate our lives with what God has called us to do. We think we can cross-pollinate going out to the clubs. We think we can cross-pollinate. And so you don't want to look like the oddball. You don't want to look like you're uncool. You don't want to look like something. Whatever that something may be in your life. We must be transformed. Because when you're transformed, you will prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. You'll prove it in your walk. You'll prove it in your talk. You'll prove it in your lifestyle. Amen. You'll sit down when everybody else is standing up. Hallelujah. There's no bell that makes you do something. Amen. Some of you have attitudes that when a bell goes off, you want to. Yes. Amen. Amen. And you best believe everyone in here knows their bell. Amen. Yes, amen. You can pretend like you don't. Yeah. You can sit here and look Hasidity. Yes. You can do whatever you want. Everyone knows their bell. Everyone knows what they do that they probably shouldn't be doing. Amen. Everyone knows the bell that they used to have. Amen. See, because some people have given up their bell. Amen. Amen. What bell is going off that makes you stand up? What bell goes off that makes you do something that you don't want to do? What bell makes you go off that when your pride hears that bell, it goes, well, better act like everyone else or they'll know. Yeah. What bell? Obvious. They said, okay, all of these are equal. Which one's not equal? And it was C. Everyone knew it. You could see it. Amen. But everybody was like, oh, it's A. Yeah, A's not equal. So everybody would be like, yeah, it's A. Yeah, it's A. So when the last person came, she said, A. And she's looking like, hey, she was willing to be wrong, so she didn't be left out. Amen. How many times has the power of God came on you, but you were like, hey, that image. Don't let that bell ring in your life. Yeah. Don't let what everybody else is doing determine on how you walk your walk. Yeah. Because this is the only determination that you need. Yeah. This is what lets you know how you should walk, how you should talk, how you should act, how you should live, how you should pray, how you should sacrifice, how you should worship. This determines it. That's right. I don't care if y'all are living right by this word and this man starts to go stray from this. If he starts to go stray from this, you got to say, hey, Pastor. Amen. This is the final authority. Amen. Yeah. But see, some of us, we just sit here, we're like, everybody else is doing it. Yes. Ding. Yeah. Also, we don't look left out. Yeah, come on. Also, we're not the only the Lone Ranger. Yeah. These two aunties don't care. Yeah. Amen. Amen. They will drink of all the goodness that God